I'm sure that he has got a lot to talk about. He always does. He used to do 2 hours of this, and then he ungraciously gave up an hour so I could come in here and give my little rant. We want to remind you the phone number to call is 423-800-8949. That is 423-800-8949. A lot of interesting news and tidbits going on. Covenant men's tennis team and senior Matthew Harvey both ended the year ranked in the ITA's Atlantic South region poll. Covenant finished the year ranked number 17 in the region, while Harvey also earned a number 17 ranking overall. Covenant was one of 5 USA South members ranked in the final poll, while Harvey was one of 3 individual players to finish the year ranked. As a team overall, Covenant was 15-5, ranked in each of the 4 polls that were released after the spring season started. Scott started out at number 20 in the March 29th poll, but moved up to 17th in the next ranking and stayed there for the rest of the year. Rankings marked the first time the program garnered a regional ranking in its history. Scott's 15 victories this season set a program record as they clinched a second straight USA Southwest Division regular season title. Harvey capped a storied career for the Scots and finished ranked 17th in the region. He was 17th over the final 2 polls of the year, the highest region ranking he's ever received. And for his career, he was regionally ranked by the ITA in 9 polls altogether. Harvey went 16-2 in singles play, 19-2 in doubles, playing partner Chris Cox in 2018. Harvey wrapped up his career with 51 singles wins and the program's career record for winning percentage to go along with 54 doubles wins. So congratulations to Matthew Harvey and the Covenant men's tennis team. While we're talking about the small schools in our region, can never count them out because they are an integral part of our sports and also our academic footprint, I guess you could say, here in the region. We want to also give some accolades down to Dalton State. The 2-time Jack Nicklaus Award winner and SM Lee held the 36-hole lead at the 2018 Dogwood Invitational, but with weekend rounds of 64 and 67 from the University of Virginia's Ashton Poole, that allowed Poole to pass Lee and hold on for the victory. Lee finished with rounds of 69, 64, 70, and 68 for his 17 under 271, 5 strokes behind Poole, that is, who had a 69, 66, 64, and a 67 to garner a 266 in third. Duke's Chandler Eaton would fire a final round 65 to jump Lee and finish in second. So the Buford, Georgia sophomore came into the event ranked at the number 95 mark amateurly in the world, according to the World Amateur Golf Rankings, and will surely move up after his top 5 finish is tabulated. So congratulations to SM Lee on those accolades going his way. And it sounds like Dalton State's got a couple more good years to have some great golfing coming out of Dalton in the form of SM Lee. All right, we're going to check in now. As I scroll the mouse over and get you updated with the latest in the world of racing, here's Susie Armstrong.
A Stewart-Haas Racing podium sweep in Michigan.
Well, I think that's the coolest thing about it. You know, you're up there.
I'm Susie Armstrong, and this is the world of racing.
The Starlight Lounge presents An Evening with the Progressive Box.
I wrote this next song for a gal from Cheyenne. Should never have told her how Progressive's collision insurance covers injured dogs and cats. She said if they could love her pooch as much as she did, then so could I. Well, I couldn't. This next song's called Cat Person. It was a rough, rough night in Wyoming. The cat was out of the bag.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Pet coverage not available in New Hampshire and North Carolina.
Things happen fast in racing, and if you don't know where to look, you can miss it all. With Legend from Racing Electronics, you'll never miss another moment. Legend gives you live fan vision video, in-car cameras, and stats at NASCAR and other Premier Series events. And the next generation race scanner for unfiltered driver and crew audio at any motorsports event nationwide. NASCAR fans have never been closer to the action. Welcome to the future of the fan experience. Learn more by visiting racingelectronics.com.
It's been a historic year for Stewart-Haas Racing. The four-car team has won 7 races heading into the Cup Series off weekend. They made history again in Michigan on Sunday as Clint Bowyer, Kevin Harvick, and Kurt Busch swept the podium, with Bowyer winning the rain-shortened clash.
I said it to myself, gosh, this is a moment. We're running 1, 2, 3 at a track that's an aero track, that's a horsepower track. And then when you're on top and you're lined up and it's 1, 2, 3 with Kevin and Kurt behind you, it's just awesome, and then to be able to get there and give each other hugs and be happy, truly, genuinely happy for one another. That's what it takes.
I'm Susie Armstrong, and this is The World of Racing on the Motor Racing Network.
Thank you very much, Susie. And you can always catch the latest NASCAR news here weeknights on the Locker Room Show with Sam Jordan here on Cougar Radio 92.7 FM. Once again, 423-800-8949 is the phone number to call. Want to remind you, coming up after CBS World and National News at 8 o'clock, The Clutch with Keon Rose. And one of our other new shows that we've got here on Cougar Radio, sports-oriented and local and regional, in fact, is the Breakfast Blitz with Nick LeFew each and every Saturday morning from 8 to 10 a.m., whether it's me or Keon or whomever, it can always be a fun and interesting show. And I know that a lot of the schools, colleges that is, are already getting into their preseason workouts. And actually saw a story where Trussville, Alabama 2020 defensive back Malachi Moore spent Sunday in Knoxville working out with the Vols, and the 4-star prospect said he left with some new tricks of the trade and a good vibe about coming to Tennessee. Sunday's visit to Rocky Top was Moore's second this spring, and he's developing a solid relationship with the Vols. Moore quoted, "I talked to Coach Fair and Coach Sinceri often. Tennessee has a lot of my interest. Really like the relationships I'm building up there, and I like what Coach Pruitt is doing and making a 180-degree change with the program." He also quoted and saying, "I also talked to some of the players like Jeremy Banks, and he said it was great up there." For more, the recruiting travels continue. He'll visit LSU on Friday. We'll camp at Alabama a week from today. With a decision obviously a long ways away, Moore does have an early idea of a couple of things he's looking for in a school. He says he wants a place that their defense plays a lot of press, man coverage, because that's his best strength. And he would also like a defensive-minded head coach. With Coach Pruitt at Tennessee, it's another reason he's interested in the Vols. So a lot of expectations being put on UT. Now, however, I did see another story floating about out there with 24/7 Sports where Tennessee was going to be looked at as the 9th best team in the SEC. I don't know if I would put them down that low. Yes, I know they're coming off of a 4-8 season, but I don't think Tennessee is going to stay down in the bottom half of the ranks. I just don't see it. Keon, I know you're wanting to bite at the bit on this one here. You may have to hit that. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, just making sure.
It's like 9th out of 14 teams.
Yeah, well, I think you just have to go on what they did last year. I think so we've all been burned by Tennessee before. Like this whole thing of like, okay, they can turn this around, they can change this. And under Butch Jones, I think Tennessee was very highly rated. And I think that the people who are voting in these polls don't want to rate Tennessee too high and then have them not come through again. Yeah, but everything's different. Like it is different. It's not the same.
Caliber of coaching is totally different.
Yeah, no, Jeremy Pruitt is a way better coach.
I mean, coming from a winning program where he's led the defense for a long time, and
it's night and day.
Yeah,
but I still think you don't. If you are the person that rates Tennessee very highly, you are putting yourself out there, and you Like, it could pay off. You could look right. You could look correct. But if they don't, then you're the guy that got tricked by Tennessee again.
I actually would put them up around number 5 or number 6 in the conference.
In the entire conference?
In the entire conference.
Well, okay, so
you're doing some quick math in your head.
I'm trying to figure it out because they're obviously not ahead of Alabama
in Georgia.
I don't know if they're ahead of Texas A&M. Jimbo Fisher's over there.
No, I wouldn't say that. Florida, I think, would actually.
Florida's got the talent, and now they've got Dan Mullen.
Right. And then you've got the invariable with Auburn because you don't know how they're gonna.
That's true, and they've got Jarrett Stidham back at quarterback. So it's gonna probably be another big year for them.
So that's why I'm saying Tennessee should be able to fall right behind Auburn.
Yes, I think the question comes down to whether or not you put them in front or behind Kentucky, who's been playing well in recent years and has their team together. It's not a perfect team.
You could probably flip-flop the two teams.
Yeah.
Kentucky and with Tennessee.
South Carolina has their squad together. It depends on, again, how much you believe in Will Muschamp, but are they better or worse than that team that has been built like this for a while? And Jeremy Pruitt's coming in. He's got to get his guys in. I can't imagine Tennessee would stay down there, but like you said, I don't know if a lot of the voters are going, well, it's not necessarily fair to sort of leapfrog Tennessee ahead of all these other schools just based on a coaching change. We have to see if the personnel works out.
But I think that he has been finding that personnel that he needs to put in those key positions, whether it's the JUCO route or he's got these 3- and 4-star recruits that can come in and play immediately. I think he's going to have to go to some of those right away in order to make an impact. I mean, because Tennessee's got one of the top recruiting classes. I mean, top 10 in the country. And I think he's going to have to go to that batch instead of growing them slowly. It's going to be like a tomato in a way. I mean, you got to grow it on the vine and get it just right.
And I don't know what Jeremy Pruitt's philosophy is on underclassmen and whether they should start over upperclass. Like, I don't know. I mean, I don't want to speak to that. But
we can speculate.
Yeah, and I do think if Tennessee has early success, which they probably should, I mean, they'll probably jump up in those rankings, pretty quickly.
I mean, I don't see Tennessee getting into the USA Today top 25 poll anytime quickly in the season unless they get to 5-0. Then you might see an honorable mention,
and then you win a big game. I don't know what's in their early schedule. I haven't got a chance to look at that yet, but yeah. If you win a big game early and you're
October is going to be scary.
Well, yeah,
because you got Alabama, Georgia,
right? And October's always scary because Alabama's always in October, and then you got Georgia this year, and they're it's going to be a tough one.
But do you think that they could pull a huge upset with one of those 3 games that are back to back to back?
Yeah, I mean, it's
possible.
It's possible, and I know, during the Butch Jones years, and they had Josh Dobbs, and they almost beat Alabama one of those games. I mean, they were down to the last drive. If they scored on it, they would have won the game. I mean, so it's possible. You're playing all these opponents. You're very familiar with them. You play Alabama all the time. You play Georgia all the time. You know these people. So yeah, I mean, just the level of familiarity with a lot of these players, you could beat them.
The scary part of the whole situation that I see from my standpoint is they haven't really came out and named a quarterback that's going to be first string. Right. It's still kind of a by committee type choice. And, they've got the transfer in, Kellen Christ out from Stanford, who's in there. Garantano, he ought to be the incumbent. He would think that he would be the incumbent.
I think so, but he was up and down last year.
Right.
He had some good games. He had some bad games. He played a game and have a great quarter and a horrible quarter. I mean, so you just...
Right. I mean, but this is not Garantano's system that he is accustomed to. Chris, I mean, he's coming in playing that same type system. So, the speculation is really out there whether Chris is going to take it to start the season.
I hate it when coaches do this thing where they bring in a transfer, they know the guy is going to start, and they pretend all offseason long like he's got to earn his job. Like, no, he doesn't. Auburn did this with Jarrett Stidham. He was clearly the best quarterback on that roster. You had Jeremy Johnson and Sean White and all those guys, and like none of those guys were any good. Stidham comes in, he's clearly the best, and we pretended right up until the season began. Oh yeah, we're gonna make him fight it out. No, you're not.
Yeah,
I think Chris is gonna get it.
I know Joe Paterno did that for years up at Penn State. You know, he always had two great quarterbacks. And it's like, you know, well, we'll just have to wait and see, you know, how things go through practice this week, and then we'll make a game time. You know who you're going to start.
Yeah, I mean, come on, there's too much work.
Unless somebody gets hurt, the obvious.
I think there are some quarterback situations where it's not obvious, where like both guys are neck and neck, and you really just have to wait until the very end and flip a coin sometimes. This is not one of those times.
Right.
This is not one of those.
It's not. I mean, but, you know, when you have went out and how I'm still boggled by the fact that Pruitt was able to pull off the recruiting class for 2018 like he did with barely like a month or so.
Yeah, like I don't think anyone would have blamed him if he had showed up and done nothing. The amount of time that he had to work with, not a whole lot. And most coaches don't get that done when they're hired in that time frame. And with the, you know, the almost hire of
Greg
Schiano. I mean, like most coaches don't get much done there. I don't think anyone would have blamed him. The fact that he did accomplish anything at all is pretty impressive. The fact that he got a top 10 recruiting class is beyond impressive at that point.
And then the thing is, you know, he's already working hard on the 2019 class, and the early signing date's not until December, but he's already pulling in a good quarterback in Brendan Clark, you know, who is probably one of the most sought-after quarterbacks here, at least in the Southeast, if not in the eastern half of the country.
Yeah, and I just read that he pulled in a 4-star wide receiver.
Right. I mean,
very interesting name. Trahan. First name Trahan, last name Trahan. Which, hey.
Okay, like Sirhan, you're right? Hopefully he's not as killer as Sirhan was. But, yeah, we've are going to have an interesting SEC season to be looking at.
For sure.
Now, you claim that you're not a Georgia Bulldog fan.
No, I'm not. I mean, I like watching them. They're a good team. Last year, the way that I saw that they were coming together, I thought this team could go to a national title.
Yeah.
And
you were jumping on the bandwagon early before.
Yeah, and I feel, and it's more arrogance than anything. I like to gloat about how correct I am often, and so to be absolutely
he's not right on that one.
Yeah, no, I fully admit it, and to be right about that made me feel good about myself. But I'm a Longhorn fan. I'm from Texas.
How are your Longhorns going to shape up?
This is the story of the Texas Longhorns for the last 8 years. They are a quarterback away from having a 10-win season. If they don't find a quarterback, they're going to have a 4-win season. And they never find the quarterback. I don't know who their quarterback's going to be. Is it going to be Bichelle? Is it going to be I forget the name of the other kid that stepped in last year and had a great year, but he got injured? I mean, who's it going to be? I don't know.
Yeah.
But if either of those guys pans out, they'll be really good. I mean, the talent is everywhere else on that roster. It's just not the quarterback position.
I'm just wondering how my Razorbacks are going to fare.
I don't know.
It's just
with that coaching change, and in the SEC West in particular,
right? And
with Jimbo Fisher showing up, I mean, it's going to be tough because you're going to play Auburn and Alabama and A&M and LSU, who, you know,
is their big rival now, other than Missouri. But, you know,
y'all are going to beat Missouri. That I can tell you.
We didn't beat them last year.
Yeah.
And that was when the coach got fired.
Yeah.
He should have gotten fired.
I think they're talented enough to beat Missouri. I know they didn't beat them last year, but they should have.
And that was on national TV, too.
Yeah.
But
that's a bad one. But
yeah.
No, I think Arkansas is talented enough to beat the
Walk off the field. It's like, Coach, you're being relieved of your services. Have a nice life. We'll have our lawyers get a hold of your lawyers.
Yeah, and look, Brett Bielema is talented. He's just an underachiever. Like, that's really what it comes down to. It's like the
He
talent.
actually did better at Wisconsin. He probably wishes he never would have left Wisconsin, but it was because of the
Because
dollars.
of the money, and it was good money. Look, I will never blame a guy for leaving a situation to go to the one that makes more money. Like, that's just, you go for it, man.
Right.
But I do think
that's what we keep saying about you.
as soon as
It ain't about the money, but it's about the money.
I don't want to say it's all about the money, but it's like 90% about the money.
Yeah.
So anyway, no,
boss, we want to race, both of us.
It might do the LeBron Tristan Thompson thing where LeBron didn't sign his contract until they gave Tristan Thompson a raise, and then he signed it. No, but with Brett Bielema, it always felt like Arkansas played up or down to the level of their competition. Like, if they were playing somebody good, they'd play good. If they were playing someone bad, they'd play terribly. And that was why they could never get over the hump. Like, the amount of 500, just above or just below 500 seasons they had with Bielema, kind of unacceptable.
I could see my Razorbacks being more of, out of the 14 teams in the SEC, being that 9th or 10th ranked team. I don't see them being much lower than that, but Tennessee definitely higher than 9.
Yeah.
Going into the season, seeing who's been signed, with all the different reports coming out of Knoxville with how preseason practice has been going, I really think that we have got a much better team than a lot of people are giving us credit for. But I get your point, what you've said. We've had the Butch Joneses, we've had the Derek Dooleys, and all the other clowns that have came through Knoxville.
Just guys who just didn't get it. And Butch Jones was really a guy that didn't get it. Like, just the stuff that he would say in the media, you just have to scratch your head and go, wow. I mean, what planet is he living on? And I think it's a good fresh start for Tennessee. You hear Jeremy Pruitt, you hear all the things that he is saying, and you go, yeah, he gets it. He understands the way that this looks. And I think with Tennessee too, there's a certain degree of politics you have to play. The judge is not ready to do it.
Right. We got a whole lot more to talk about here. It's the I'm Sam Jordan. This gentleman here next to me is Keanu Rose, and he'll be coming your way. I just consolidate. I mean, it's like, we end up.
Traffic, news, and information. Nuga Radio. Digital FM 95.3 HD4 and 92.7 FM.
3, 2, 1.
Chattanooga Radio. Digital FM 95.3 HD4. 92.7 FM's news now.
A woman fell from the wild lightning at Lake Winnie. Investigators tell the TFP that a 42-year-old fell from the roller coaster around 2 p.m. and they're not sure why. A park spokeswoman said they've launched their own internal investigation. Jonathan Walker was sentenced to 4 years in prison for killing 6 children in the deadly Woodmore bus crash. Yesterday, a judge denied a motion to reduce his sentence. Walker's attorney argued on the grounds that one of the mothers who testified in his trial had questionable testimony, adding that Jasmine Mateen had a criminal record and no evidence to back up her claims in court. 4 paramedics were hospitalized after a carbon monoxide scare at Bonnaroo. Coffee County sheriffs say the paramedics were operating out of an RV that was powered on a generator. One of the paramedics woke up, got help after showing signs of possible carbon monoxide poisoning. Their conditions remain unknown. Val St. John for Nuga Radio, News Talk 92.7, Action News Now.
Chattanooga Morning News with Russ and Val. Weekdays from 6 to 9 a.m. on Nuga Radio, 92.7 FM.
Chattanooga weather. Staying partly cloudy and muggy out there through your nighttime. Could see an isolated shower or storm overnight. Lows of around 70. Now for your Wednesday, scattered showers and storms a little more likely as they move in from the north and west. Highs mid and upper 80s. More sun, a little drier later Thursday. Highs of around 90. For lunch or dinner, come to Guthrie's, home of the original golden fried delicious chicken finger with their special world famous sauce. Open daily. Locations in Trenton, Signal Mountain, and Ringgold. Go get Guthrie's. It's always good. And I'm Swarty, 12 Chief Meteorologist at your 4.
Nuga Radio 92.7. I got my business up and running, and it's already expanding. I got lucky. Lucky because I found Signal Voice and Data. Signal Voice and Data can incorporate all of my business information sharing and communications seamlessly, keep my costs down, and let me work more productively with endless connectivity no matter where I might be. That's called working smart, not hard. Go to signalvoicetn.com and bring the future of communication to your business today. signalvoicetn.com.
Hey, dude, check this out. Have you ever seen one so big?
Look at the size of that.
Those little itty bitty. They have them big, small, and everything in between. You'll always find the biggest variety of knives at the Knife Shop at Frost Cutlery in Ottawa. We're talking about over 40 brands of knives, including Benchmade, WR Case & Sons, Booker, and all the Frost Cutlery brands. Now, Sam, you've been to the Cutlery Shop. Is it amazing?
Spectacular. The Knife Shop at Frost Cutlery in Ottawa. They have knives, swords, kitchen knives, ammo, and reloading supplies, plus survival gear.
It's the Knife Shop at Frost Cutlery. Open 7 days a week. Hey, girls, you're going to love this. We're going to the Knife Shop. Hey, let's not tell them they have ammo and loading supplies. The Knife Shop at Frost Cutlery opens 7 days a week. You'll always find the biggest variety of knives. You're going to love the Knife Shop at Frost Cutlery in Ottawa. The Knife Shop.
And do you hear that? That, my friend, is not what you're thinking. That is the new 2018 Indian Chieftain Dark Horse. Yeah, Indian. Indian motorcycle is more than a bike. It's an experience, an American icon. And Indian Motorcycle of Chattanooga is the only place you'll find their new 2018 line. Are you ready to ride? Join the club. Go to Indian Motorcycle of Chattanooga. Just look for the sign, 153 and Amnicola. Indian Motorcycle, the true American original.
Hey, Karen, you need me for that 1 o'clock?
Yes, Cheese, please. Karen, did you get the quarterlies done? Yep, they're filed in the Cabernet cabinet.
Karen, can you describe the initiatives to the new hire? Thanks.
Oh, sure. Full-bodied, some floral notes, maybe a hint of dark chocolate.
Am I in the right department?
Got wine on the mind? Come unwind at Virgola. Italian wine, oysters, caviar, cheeses, and more. Perfect after work or a romantic date night. Virgola Italian Wine Bar, 608 Georgia Avenue.
Chattanooga Paint and Decorating would like to remind you it's so hot out there. And guess what? Your deck is taking a beating. It's probably starting to show wear. If you're hosting friends for the 4th, get your deck entertainment ready with a fresh coat of stain and protect it from heat, sun, and rain with a quality sealant. If you want to get to work, Chattanooga Paint and Decorating want to help you. For exterior paint, stains, sealants, and supplies, stop by Chattanooga Paint and Decorating today on Hickson Pike across from Valvoline or online at ChattanoogaPaint.com.
Nuga Radio. Are you brain dead? Still voting for pathetic liberals? Take 3 hours of Sean Hannity from 3 to 6.
Nuga Radio.
Then call us in the morning between 9 and 11.
92.7
Nuga Radio. It's the moment you've been waiting for. Sam Jordan's Nuga Radio. 92.7 Sports. Now.
We're here live on location. With me is Keon Rose, the host of The Clutch, and we're glad to have you along. You can tune in on Facebook live or on YouTube. And we've actually had an individual checking in on the Facebook Live, as always. And we have our regulars and stuff. But make sure you tell a friend to tune in between 7 and 9 each and every weeknight, or at least Monday through Thursday, for the latest in local and regional and national sports topics. And we kind of give you that fix in the evening, coming up after Russ and Val do their news. They seem like they're on the air all the time.
Like an eternity. If you wake up early enough in the morning and catch them, they're on the air for like 3 hours.
Yeah, straight.
Which, I mean, God bless them, because I don't
know how Val puts up with Russ. I really don't.
No, he's a cool guy.
Okay, that's matter of an opinion.
Well,
not necessarily of the show host, the station management, or the show. No, I'm just kidding. Russ is great. I did have to give him grief though this morning.
Well, are we airing our laundry out here now, or
well, it's not too bad. I mean, I was over at our old studios doing some final touch-ups and everything, and I don't think he would care if I say this, but I was over in our kitchen area, our break area, and I thought I'm just going to look just for to make sure that everything is left in good shape for our landlord that we had over there. Great people. And I open up the top part where you put the filter in and the coffee. It was the last cup of coffee that was made over from 3 weeks ago. And I'm saying about a half inch of mold was starting to grow on some of the grounds of coffee. And I thought, I'm not a coffee drinker. There aren't many people, 2, maybe 3 people that I know that drink coffee regularly at the radio station. And first stop that I made once I got back over here, we got the carpet steam cleaned and all that. Really looks great. And I go back to the newsroom. They're in the back. And it's like, Russell, I said, I love you like a son, but I'm telling you what, our break area looks like what I just had to deal with. I'm going to be beating you silly. I'm sorry. It's like, not as sorry as you will be.
Well, I think Russ coming in the morning with Val, Russ is more like me. It's not messiness, it's organized chaos. Yeah. Val is a neat freak. Val is not okay with organized chaos. She just wants organized. Oh, yes. Leave the chaos at home. Yeah. So Russell has actually not done anything of the sort over here because Val is not going to allow for that to happen.
No.
So,
and she even warned me before I left to go over there to the old studios. And she says, well, you shouldn't have to touch the refrigerator because I cleaned that, scoured that, everything. I get over there and I look inside the fridge and the freezer. There was only a couple ice trays up in the top, which those stayed anyway. And there were 3 bottles of water in the refrigerator part. So I took those out because, I didn't want to leave anything behind or anything, and took pictures and sent it to Val. And she gave me a wise crack of an answer, but, it was like I was kind of poking fun at the bear there as well, But, yeah, she is a clean freak. But Mama Bear, she takes care of her den, and she's keeping him on a short leash to make sure that he keeps his area clean.
And they work in that space together.
Right.
So it's just not going to happen.
Right. So, yeah, Russell may have more of a punishment than what I have at times.
Oh, no.
I know that my shared office.
Who is scarier, you or Val? It's Val. Like that's true. For me personally, it's more of an unknown quantity kind of deal because I actually have not seen Val mad. But like I've just imagined it, and I'm like, yeah, no, let's keep her happy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, you've heard the saying about fear and common sense, right? Yeah, you better use a lot of common sense and have the fear of God that she doesn't get after you.
Just trust your gut. Just trust your gut.
I think she would be more worrisome to have to deal with than the boss here at the station. Seriously.
I mean, probably.
No, there ain't no probably.
Mike is like, he's loud, but he's not.
He gets it over with in a short burst,
and then like he forgets like the next day. Like he yells at you today, and then like he's like George Steinbrenner.
Yeah,
just like he fires you, and then like the next day you show up anyway because he doesn't remember.
I had a boss like that. My first commercial radio gig over in Little Rock back in the 80s. I got fired 6 times, but hired within an hour or two after it happened. And then the one time he called and told me to come back, and I didn't come back. He drove over, and my mom, because I was still under 20 at the time, my mom met him at the door because his family and our family were related and everything through the past that it is. And my mama just landed into him. You better not ever fire my boy again, blah, blah, blah. I still remember it. And boy, my boss, whose name was Mike, he stood there and he listened to my mother. And it was like, he put me in charge of handling a particular department. And it's like, I made a decision that I thought was right. And it was like, we just had a difference of interpretation. I mean, he still entrusted me with a lot of different things for being as young as I was. But it was like, it's like meeting up with Val. You just didn't want to mess with Mom back there.
Yeah, no. But don't poke Mama Bear.
No,
it's not a good idea.
No.
Bad plan.
I hope she's not hearing this. She's probably still up yet, but because I know she does go to bed like around 10 or so, at least what I've been reportedly told.
I wouldn't say anything on the air that I would not also say to Val.
Oh, that's true.
So that's the way that I go about that.
Yeah.
If she has a problem with it, then I will retract everything that I said. Obviously,
you will know by tomorrow night.
I will take everything back. But she's a great person. She's very fun, and she's very nice. That every time, like, I don't know, the last couple of times that I've seen her, I've gotten donuts or something like that. So it's like, no,
she is a sweetie. I will say that. But don't forget to join Russ and Val every weekday morning from 6 to 9 a.m. with Chattanooga's Morning News. Get the most updated news coverage in all the Tennessee Valley. Weather and traffic 12 times an hour. And, of course, you get my sports updates unless Keon's filling in for me, which he does from time to time. I try to give him a little bit, I try to give you a little bit more airtime. All right, you hit that button and I'll get this button here. I hope this is not Val. Good evening. You're on the Locker Room Show.
Yeah, I want to get you guys' take on this whole LeBron sweepstakes yet again. It's starting to get so overrated and overwhelmed on the news circuit.
Well, what do you think LeBron's going to end up doing? You think he'll stay in Cleveland or head to Philly or where?
Well, I hate that we just ease into this every time. Where they'll say, oh, his son's enrolling in school in LA. But really, nobody really knows what's going on. I personally hope that he goes to Philadelphia to help rejuvenate a franchise that needs a fresh start after the recent debacle there in Philly.
That team's really young. I think they'll be fine even without him in the long run. But he would obviously fast track things. As far as the news media just covering you with coverage of LeBron James, he's the greatest living basketball player and he's a free agent. Like if Jordan had gotten a chance to be a free agent as many times as LeBron has gotten to be a free agent, we would drown in this in the 90s. Like, just died.
Yeah, I think the biggest problem. I think the biggest problem, caller, is Dan Gilbert. I mean, who else other than Jerry Jones would interfere with the team like he has? I mean, Tyronn Lue, he's only the figurehead. He's the head that's getting turned by Dan Gilbert, which is the neck part. Believe it or not. Can't keep his hands off of anything. Maybe even Jimmy Haslam you could throw in there. Maybe it's a Cleveland thing with a big D sticking in there as well. But why would you let Kyrie Irving go? Why would you make the deals that were made during the trade period that was going on if you didn't think that LeBron was going to be back? I mean, the writing is all over the wall. They made it to the championship finals, but they just couldn't get over that hump. And then I think J.R. Smith is going to be finding a new residence somewhere. It won't be in Cleveland. I mean, especially the way that he played in the playoffs. But I don't know. I mean, go ahead.
Nobody else could take. LeBron James carried that team the whole entire way through the playoffs. And that here again, he does get nobody. Dan Gilbert hasn't gotten anybody to help supplement him to not have to carry the whole entire workload. That's the thing I kind of can't stand. Where LeBron goes sometimes, especially with Cleveland, this is his third stop there, second stop.
Second.
I lost track because it's so repetitive. I just want to see LeBron just have a team where he doesn't have to be the guy, but he is the guy. I like what Shannon Sharp said, without LeBron, Cleveland has no chance at making the playoffs.
They don't. They really don't. I mean, even if you go back, everybody keeps making the comparison about Jordan. Well, Jordan had one guy that he went to in Scottie Pippen. And it's like, you also had Dennis Rodman, who was there for the theatrics. And, when he played, he played a heck of a game. But generally, you've got two that are going to be sticking out there, and that was LeBron and Kyrie. Tristan Thompson, they had others that are on that team that have helped them get along the way. But you look at the Golden State Warriors, Stephen Curry, Kevin Durant,
Klay Thompson, Green. It goes on and on forever, it feels like.
Right. And it's, with what Cleveland has right now, I'm surprised they made it to the NBA Finals, especially after getting rid of their one main go-to guy in Kyrie Irving. Now, what's going to be interesting is trying to figure out where LeBron is going to go. You know, Golden State doesn't want him. They've already made, well, at least some of the players have said that they don't want him. I don't think Golden State needs him.
Obviously not. They're champions against him without him.
Right. You know, I really hope that LeBron stays in the East, because that way it gives more of a balance for the NBA in general.
I really hate the NBA right now. It's just there's no parity. Like, teams are just, there's only two main teams, and the rest of the teams are kind of just there. They just hold their place to place the draft and do everything else. The league really has to step in and stop continuing to allow some of these teams to become these mega teams or superstar teams. You know, I don't think Golden State's necessarily, they have a team that surrounds them, and they have intricate parts that they each play. But like, some of these teams are trying to build these mega teams, and it just doesn't work. Eventually, you know, I've heard where I was hearing it, you know, they'll do well for 3 years, and then after that, it just drops off on everybody. You know, every player. It's like a cancer to each team that gets these mega stars. You know, they'll have 3 or 4 big players.
Well, I mean, that's what we're going to see here with Cleveland. I mean, they had 3 or 4 good years, and it's like, all right, we didn't really improve that well at the box office, you know, with the ticket sales. We only won 1 championship.
I don't know about that, because I think it's really hard to win a lot in any sport. It's like you had Kobe and Shaq together. That was a 3-year run, and then it fell apart. You had the Pistons, the Bad Boy Pistons together. That was like a 2 to 3 year run, and then it fell apart, and Isaiah Thomas and Bill Laimbeer got into a fight, and Isaiah Thomas tore his Achilles, and it was kind of the end. Like, it's just, at some point, winning for 3-4 years, that's actually unusual. Like, doing what the Bulls did 3 years, and even then, Michael Jordan took 2 years off and then came back before they got another 3. Like, it's just a really tough thing to ask anybody to do, super team or not.
Yeah, honestly, I don't think you'll see another team like the Bulls or the 90s. But then you have to go and give the statement that it's a totally different era that they're playing in. You know, the Bulls were the team of the 80s, 90s, and the 2000s, but then you got LeBron that takes us into the next 20 years of the NBA. You know, where the teams like, you know, the players like LeBron are a once-in-a-generation type player. And honestly, I don't think we're going to see another LeBron James player for, you know, another 10 to 15 years. It's, you know, and it's highly unlikely we'll see him in art, you know. So I just want to see the NBA get back to where there's parity teams where.
Here's the thing.
You know,
and I'm going to disagree with you there. People say they want parity. They don't want parity. Because parity means there is no great team, and you've got a bunch of pretty good teams.
Yeah.
That's the Eastern Conference.
Yeah,
the Eastern Conference is parity. And all we do is complain about how not good the Eastern Conference is. Even though if you took the top 16 teams in the league and just said, here, you all make the playoffs, all the teams that made the playoffs in the East would make it, except for the Wizards. The Nuggets would have made it in. Like, the parity already exists. It's the Eastern Conference. We don't like it. You know, I mean, that's what you like. I mean, it sounds nice in your head, but like when you actually have it played out, we prefer dynasties.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, it's just like the NBA, along with NFL, Major League Baseball, NHL. You know, the bigger cities are going to have probably the more money to spend to attract the top free agents or the best picks coming out of college. Cleveland, you know, is a mid-level team. They've seriously overrated for the last several years, but, you know, Cleveland made the commitment financially to go after, get these top players or try to assemble the best. Miami tried to do it, and look how long that lasted with LeBron and all those, Chris Paul and Chris Bosh.
Yeah, Bosh and D-Wade and LeBron. Like, we have this idea in our head that dynasties are going to last a whole lot longer than they do, even they thought it was going to last longer than it did because LeBron sat there and said, not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, not 7.
Yeah.
You do realize that if that actually happened, they would have just lost this year.
Yeah.
That would have been a 7-year dynasty for them. Like, so obviously that's something that can't last. We imagine that this stuff is going to last longer than it does, and it never does.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, windows close faster in sports than we give it credit for.
Houston and San Antonio, for the most part, they hang in there for as long as they can. And, you know, they were like thorns in the side and everything. But, you know, LA Lakers for years, I mean, many years, they were one of the top teams, you know, and probably the team or fans in the East, you know, just despised the Lakers. I mean, but they kept reloading. I mean, all the time. Boston Celtics was like that. Miami Heat was like that for a while. Chicago and Detroit. You know, so it's like, you know, for a Cleveland team that is a mid-tier team, it makes it very hard. And then, you know, when you have all that star talent, well, you've got to increase the ticket prices in order to pay for the talent and everything. And that's what kind of hurts after a while. And you know, that may be one of Cleveland's downfalls, you know, because they can't stay up there on that competitive level.
I think they can. It's just that you have the greatest living basketball player, try not to scare him away.
Right.
And they did. Because Dan Gilbert, as we've mentioned many, many times, is not a smart man.
No. Almost like Don Snyder.
Similar.
And specifically to get Keon's take first. How long do you guys think the Golden State team will stay together? And thanks for taking my call.
All right. Thanks, caller.
Thank you. How long do I think that team will stay together? Look, it's tough. I think if they lose a title together, that'll test it, because at this point, after 4 years of going to the NBA Finals, you've played so much basketball together. And it could just be me projecting, but when I watched them play this year, there were times when it looked like they were tired of each other.
Right.
Like, you just spend more time with these guys than you do with your family. It grates on you. It really does. Kevin Durant is signing a lot of these one-year deals. You know, I think you got maybe a couple more years in this.
I say 2.
Yeah, I don't think you have much longer because of the wear and tear. Steph Curry's starting to get hurt again more. Houston almost.
How many years does Durant have left?
I mean, Durant's 30.
Yeah,
he's 30 and he's a shooter. So I mean, like, he can play for. Honestly, I think he can play for as long as he wants to. His game is going to age particularly well. But how many years does he have in Golden State, or does he want to try going to other places? Would he go back to DC? Would he go back to the Thunder? Because I know it bothers him what the things that people say about him. So I don't know.
Especially in Oklahoma City.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, and because he's still big in the community out there in Oklahoma City as well. But I think 2 more years is a good timeline to say, because I do think the wear and tear is getting on them, and I do think the league is starting to figure them out.
Want to remind you to join Nooga Radio 92.7 FMs. We're going to be broadcasting live during the 36th annual Chattanooga Waterfront Triathlon coming up Saturday and Sunday, June 23rd and 24th, downtown Chattanooga. Come on out, check things out. Keon Rose is up next. Thanks for joining us here on the Locker Room Show. Good night.
Traffic, news, and information. Nooga Radio. Digital FM 95.3 HD4 and 92.7 FM.